The King is back again, with an immersive conflict that's been going on for decades, with a series of 15 hypothetical scenarios set in 2024 across the Indian subcontinent. Command vast air and naval forces, take control of modern attack fighters and mid-20th century jets, and immerse in a near-future battle between Pakistan and India. Kashmir, with a total area of some 85,800 square miles, subject of dispute between India and Pakistan since the partition of the Indian subcontinent in 1947, is now in the center of the scene. Tensions explode into a rapidly escalating war that draws in neighbors and superpowers alike. Plan your naval strategy carefully. You'll have to dismantle multiple carrier strike groups in the most brutal naval battles since World War II. You'll have to change sides during the various scenarios to India, to Pakistan, to the USA. And you'll have to run against the clock as the enemy prepares to escalate the conflict. Carriers, frigates, submarines guide the world's most impressive militaries in a multi-sided campaign. Perform deep strikes into enemy territory to neutralize high-value targets, and carefully evacuate civilians from deep inside a war zone. Ensure the victory of your forces through thoughtful strategy and planning. Creative deployment will be needed to overcome deficiencies in your tattered armed forces. All this awaits you in Kashmir Fire, out now.
Hello, everyone. This is tea time. I was noticing Zepsd is having Garibaldi biscuits today, which is a very good opportunity to remind you that May 6th is the start of the Expedition of the Thousand, when our national hero Garibaldi decided to leave from the coast of Genova to reunify the country. So well played, Zepsd, for today. It's also George Clooney's birthday, 60 years old, and in other historical events, just for the anecdotes. As you've seen, Command Kashmir Fire is released today. We have it's the first big DLC for that's being released for quite a while. So welcome back, Command DLCs. We're also releasing pretty chunky patch at the same time, 1.03 if I'm not mistaken. That is including some major fixes to sonars and a wealth of other changes, as Warfare Sims is always given us a lot of frequent updates and fixes. It's also the first game that Robbie 7979 launches for Slitherine. So good luck, Robbie, for your first foray into product launches. I hope your checklist has been cleared and you can now answer all the questions to the people in the chat. Hello, everyone. We have a special one today, actually, because we're going to talk about Valor Victory more in detail. What it means is that we have the designer of the game, Barry Doyle, and of the board game, Barry Doyle, and the creator and almost like one-man team, Lance Craner, doing the digital version of it. And we're going to have both of them in an interview. And we are super scared about interviews because usually that's when audio stops working. So fingers crossed, everything is going to be okay. So I think it's the best way to do is like we move to that. We do the interview of Valor Victory because the release is approaching. The game is launching in June. And then, we'll go through a reminder about our events next week. So Without further ado, let me try and do this connection with Barry and Lance. Okay, let's see if this works. Let us know, guys. If it doesn't work, that I know who to blame anyway. So, righty. Okay, let's see. Hello, Lance. Hello, Barry.
Hey, Marco.
Right, let's see. Okay, we're gonna see if in the chat anyone says not working, and if this is going to be fine or not. So hello, both of you. Lance, as I said, Lance is the creator of the digital version of Valor Victory, and Barry, the creator of the board game. So I'll start with Barry. Well, thanks for coming, guys. Thanks for being with us. So Barry, you published the board game not long ago, really. No, it's not like donkey's years ago. It's kind of recent history.
Yeah, I released it originally around 2007. I guess I started working on it in the late 90s. The initial plan was actually to have it published, but as life would have it, things change. And I decided I wanted to get it out there anyway, so I released it as a free print and play game, but offered through some pod services, people could order printed copies for themselves. So yeah, it's been around, I guess, for about 14 years now.
What was the reception when you launched it? Was it well received?
Yeah, I was actually shocked. There were so many squad level games out that that was one of the other reasons why I decided not to actually seek out a publisher. I thought, do we really need another squad level war game in the market? And I was really surprised. I guess there were a lot of folks who were looking for a squad leader type game without all of the squad leader rules. I wanted to kind of keep the look and the feel without overburdening folks with a massive rule book, and people really flocked to it. I was surprised. I guess I made a mistake by not seeking out a publisher,
but then Lance, when did you start playing the game and got to know about the game?
Yeah, so I'd already published 2 or 3 smaller games, and I really wanted to. I thought I was ready to tackle a bigger game. And I come from the squad leader background. I never moved into advanced squad leader, but I came from squad leader background, and I really wanted to do a tactical based war game. But I knew something like advanced squad leader or squad leader would be too hard for me to do on my own at that point. So I was looking around for a tactical, focused on the infantry side more than huge long range tank battle type things. And I came across Barry's game on Board Game Geek, and I looked at it, read the rules. I thought, wow, this is fantastic. This is exactly what I need. I reached out to Barry around February 2018. And I sent him a message on Board Game Geek, not really expecting anything back, because at that time, Barry, if I recall correctly, the game Barry had been quite quiet on the game front, so I didn't know what would happen. Anyway, I contacted him, and it seemed it was just at the right time because he was thinking about launching a revised version of it. So it really fitted for both of us, basically, at that point. I've been working on it since 2018, and I know you mentioned I'm the only developer, but I brought someone else on board early last year, Bruce, who's been a tremendous help as well to bring this game into the ready for publishing.
All right. And what were the challenges? I mean, this is kind of a question for both of you. What were the challenges of creating a digital version of a board game? From a board game creator perspective and from a digital war game creator perspective.
Let me go first on that. So one of the challenges for me was I wanted to support once I developed the basics of the game to support play by email within the game in some form. And one of the challenges there is that as with many squad-based games, but Barry's game, there's opportunity fire. So you move, on the board game, you move one hex, and the opposing player, if he has a unit in line of sight and range, can say, "I want to fire at you," and then you you resolve that and you move on. Of course, in play by email, that doesn't translate very well, because you can imagine you move you move one hex on the computer version, then you'd have to send it off. They respond, and that's never going to work. So I had to make quite a big design decision early on, is to get the AI to control the opportunity fire, whether it's play by email or solo game or hot seat game, to overcome that, and to kind of make it a little bit equal on both sides, because everyone knows that you can write the best AI. We're not Google billions of pounds, sterling or dollars spending money on AI. You have to do it on your own. It helped balance the game out quite a bit for a computer version, because it means that there's a part of the game that there's an equal chance something will happen.
Yeah. Barry, do you experience some? I mean, because Lance is doing a good job at sort of translating the game, in digital version. But what do you see are the limits and the opportunities of digital in this case?
I think that Lance kind of hit the nail on the head with talking about there has to be differences in the digital version than from the board game version. And I guess from my side, the difficulties was me simply understanding what wouldn't translate well to the PC game or the digital version of it. And then also I had to kind of learn again how to design scenarios, because they do have to be different for the digital version than they are for the board game. Eventually, as more features are added, that may change, but I think there will still be some design considerations that I really have to think about before converting a board game scenario to a digital version.
Because you are designing these scenarios for the digital version, expressively for the digital version, right?
Well, they're based off of the board game scenarios, most of them. There are a few that are just going to be in the digital version, but most of them are based from scenarios from the board game. And there are some minor changes in order for them to translate well to the digital version, but they're still fairly close to the originals.
Yeah, I think one of the cool things about this relationship that was formed is that there's a true collaboration, and that there's a true back and forth about how the game is translating into digital. And when you talk about the bigger games and the big popular board games, it's very seldom that you have this real collaboration between creator of the board game and creator of the digital version. I think the game will benefit from it. Lance, did you see these benefits already, or
Oh, definitely. I had not appreciated, and I'm glad I had a route I could have gone down, which is design a whole game myself, right? And the rules and everything. I had not appreciated until I started playing Barry's game myself and translating his scenarios into a computer version and playing them, how hard it is to actually design balanced scenarios. It's not just about, you can't have an equal amount of, say, Americans and Germans and expect that to translate into a well-balanced scenario. It just doesn't work that way. It's about who's the attacker, who's defending, it's their objectives, how long does the scenario last for, what's on the map at the time. It's actually very, very hard to design a good scenario. So having Barry, who's got experience of that and continues to do that, is a huge bonus. It means I can, myself and Bruce can focus on the coding of the game and getting features in, and we have someone else behind the scenes that can design maps and scenarios. It takes a big pressure off some of the development work on the game.
So Barry, what are the challenges of creating a balanced scenario in a board game like Valor Victory? Because it is an unbalanced, setup from, because terrain plays a big part, because objectives play a big part. How do you actually create a balanced scenario so that both factions would enjoy
the challenge?
I've told Lance before, we've had this discussion a couple of times, that I think it's trying to design a balanced scenario is really, I mean, that's a difficult thing to do, especially when you have it's a game of chance. When you have dice involved, it really throws balance out the window. One player can have a couple of turns where he rolls really, really well, and the other player can roll really poorly, and it really just throws the whole scenario out of balance. So what I try to do is, in order to get balance, I look mostly at the game length, the number of turns of the game. I pick the units for each side, the order of battle, and then I put them on the map. And when I initially start playing a scenario, I don't give it a time length at all. I just play until one side completes their objectives. And then from there, I assign a game length, the number of turns. And then I play it a few more times to see if both sides can actually win the game. And once I see that both sides have a chance, and I look back at how both players played and rolled, that's kind of, I kind of know then that it's kind of set in stone and it works well. But my main goal for every scenario is to keep both players involved. I think, even if it's an unbalanced scenario, if you keep both players involved and both players feel like they have a chance and enjoy the game, I think that it's a good scenario at that point.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I think it's all about giving the player the idea that they always have a chance to turn it around and maybe winning at some point. So perfectly balanced doesn't exist, I guess.
No, it doesn't. No.
So Lance, of course, there's PBM, so there's multiplayer. Does it impact the multiplayer part as well as the single player part? And how do you rebalance when you think about AI versus thinking about having the human opponents on the other side?
Yeah, for the AI, actually, if you play the game, you're basically playing against me, because the AI is very much programmed how, it's how I would play the game. So actually having beta testers has been great, because of course that adds variations into that. But the AI, I believe when you play it, I mean, I guess it's the wrong word, but one of the tricks of the AI, of AI in general, is to make you feel like you're playing against a human player, right? So actually, as I said, when you play the game, you're very much playing against how, probably 80% of it's how I would play the game, either as defender or attacker. One of the other challenges with this game is that you can design your own scenarios. So I can't script the AI to do anything. It has to basically look at the situation on the map board, and whether it's attacking or defending, or it has to grab objectives or eliminate. The AI has to try and react to that, and also I had to, the AI has to fit into the player playing the game as well. So it knows when to do stuff, and to react in a way that seems realistic to a player as well.
Yeah, so we really hope you're good at the game, so that the AI is equally good. I guess that the beta testers are pretty happy, so you must be doing something right.
Yeah, no, I'm happy when I hear the AI is beating them, or it's been a very, very close game. That means it's doing its job, basically.
Cool. Lance, a final question. We were saying in the preparation that you're kind of very close to release and you feel confident in how things are going. So can you tell us a bit more about where you are and what's left to do?
Yeah. So right now we're almost, I would say, code complete. We're putting in support for French and Russian. We already have German and Spanish in there, so I'm just waiting for the translations back for that. Then I have to alter string lengths, to fit into the UI and stuff like that. I'm doing a little bit of tweaking of the AI based on some feedback we're still getting from the beta testers, and our main focus now is any last minute bugs that come up from the testing. We're going to test tournaments out soon. That we just finished the work on that. So there'll be tournament support from day one. And really, as you said, we're looking to launch the game in June. We're not looking to touch it too much now. Don't want to. I found that if I touch the AI, I have to do a lot of testing to make sure it hasn't unbalanced the scenario somewhere else in a different situation. So we're not looking to do too many more code changes now. It's really a question of just spotting any bugs, that haven't been found yet, and just polishing it ready for the release.
That's really good, and we're about just over a month away from release, so we're pretty excited. We can't wait to get in the hands of players and see what happens, and take it from there. I think it's going to be a start of a great journey. There's a lot to deliver here on the base game, but there's also a lot to think about for the future. So
definitely,
that's the really cool thing about this game. So thanks a lot for coming, for joining us, guys. It's been really interesting. And I really hope that I'll have you back in at a tea time for either for release or for the next iteration of Valor Victory, and for future plans as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
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 Valor Victory releasing mid-June now. We are going to give you a final date pretty soon. So watch out for a release date. That's something that we are going to give you very, very soon. And you have to think about this is a game that's very much like a sandbox in a way. We're going to make sure that we keep delivering content, because it's a perfect way of creating challenges, multiplayer games, tournaments, and so on. And it is the first time that we do a World War II game in this way. So with this idea behind, so I'm pretty happy about it, and I really look forward to the release. Now we got 7 minutes left before we get to the upcoming streams. Two very weird things happened whilst I was in interview. Gamer was gifted a subscription by someone. So first of all, I want to know who the someone is. I didn't see it properly. Second, I'm utterly surprised that Gamer wasn't subscribing to our channel. So this is something we'll have to investigate and make sure that we fix at some point. But anyway, thank you, whoever you are, for gifting a Gamer a subscription to the Slitherine channel. Spectacular. Gosh, you guys have such difficult nicknames. Yeah, thank you very much, Spectre. Mordante has an announcement after scaring us all to death because he thought that audio wasn't working. So I hope that this announcement is more fitting, because otherwise we're going to take 500 slits off your account now. A reminder that we are just about 29 subscribers short of adding Short Force 2 and Black Sea to the Slit Store. So make sure that you tell your friends to get these two games on the Slit Store. I wrote an Italian opera called "Waiting for the Reconquista." Yes, and are you gonna next week at tea time? We're gonna invite live Mordante, who's going to play the Reconquista in D minor opera. This is going to be has more views than our upcoming event next week. By the way, we have an event coming next week on Tuesday. Don't miss. It's going to be huge. We have a lot of coverage coming for this. So I think that Bruno has the kind of agenda of the event. deploy it full screen so we can everybody can see. Right, so I told you last week, we're not gonna mess around with boring things. So when you see company update, don't think, oh my God, they're gonna bore us to death with, you know, revenues and things. No, we're trying to put together an event that's really interesting for you guys. So make sure you tune in for all the bits, because every single slot has very interesting facts and information and stuff that you might want to, you know, ask follow-up questions to. So it is a really, it is going to be a really interesting event. So the first part is definitely going to be about, you know, the company, the pro work. We're going to tell you a lot about our pro clients. There's going to be a bit about command, and then we'll have a war games showcase. And then after that we have games and battle sector. As I said, I think I already said last week, but you don't know everything about battle sector. Battle sector, you know that it's set in Baal and there's 2 factions and so on, but there's things you don't know, and then we haven't announced. So we will reveal some of this next week with a special half hour about stuff that you haven't seen before. We will also release more imagery, you know, coming from the latest version, which looks super cool. So tune in for that. We have then Distant Worlds, a half hour with Eric Routines, telling us a bit more about where we are with the development, but also showing us previously unseen stuff as well. We just received the videos of the stuff we're going to show, and they are absolutely fantastic. There's really gorgeous stuff. And then Starship Troopers Terran Command, we're going to play through a single mission called Peace of Mind. I know this one for today. And then we have a full hour of new games reveals. As I said, we're going to announce 4 new products, and all these 4 products are going to blow you away. There are super cool things that you don't want to miss. I swear you're not going to. Of all the 4 games that we're going to announce or talk about or show, there is nothing like that in our catalog right now, in our back catalog or anything. It's like everything is new, is cool, it's great looking, and so you won't be disappointed at all. There's really cool stuff. So Paolo today started sending out emails with, you know, you can't say anything, but you know, this is the stuff we're showing, and some reactions were, really, you know, this is great. So I think you're gonna really enjoy that. So I've got just a minute left. So Bruno, do you have the list of upcoming streams? I dread the day when he will say, no, I don't have it ready. I forgot. All right, so after this, Edmund, after drinking a pint, I saw that you wrote that, Edmund, will play Valor Victory to you know, follow up on the chat we had today. Then Richard York is going to play Warplan Pacific, and first stream by Yogdog at 8. We have Yogdog playing Strategic Command, World at War. So follow Yogdog. He's great. This is a first stream, so give him some love. He's a great player actually. So you're gonna enjoy that. Tomorrow, Exebu will play ICBM at 6 p.m. and XCRG will play War in the East 2 at 8 p.m. By the way, new manuals will be received on the 14th of May and will ship from the following Monday. So if you haven't received your manual yet, this is going to ship not next Monday, but the one after. So not a lot left before you get your copy of the White 2 manual. And on Saturday, Kushan is playing Command. As I said, as you saw, there was no stream by Gamer this week to punish him, because we just found out that he's not a subscriber of the channel. Having said that, well, guys, I will see you next time. I'll see you. It's not going to be a Tuesday. It's going to be a sorry, it's not going to be a Thursday, it's going to be Tuesday. So I will see you at 2 p.m. UK time on Tuesday, live, not from here, from somewhere else. Location. We have a great setup with, you know, it's going to be great. So join us on Tuesday and you won't be disappointed. I will see you next week. Bye.